Everyone is throwing online events. I mean, everyone. And as the pandemic rages on, sadly, we better get good at holding online events or there won't be any other events to hold. You might even fall behind to your competitors. So, on today's Small Business Rally Point, we're talking how to make online events great, how to make them profitable, and how to use them to build your business. With someone that was doing online events long before they were cool, Melissa Blair of Cultivating Sales. Welcome to the Small Business Rally Point. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach, and this is the weekly meeting of your small business network. Now, something that strikes me, this is free and open to everyone. Yes, it's supported by Serendipity Labs and the Idea Collective for small business owners. We're grateful for their support, but this is open to all. So if you know a small business owner or an entrepreneur that would like to join in on the conversation, feel free to share the link, and the more, the merrier. Plus, we've got some exciting developments about how we might be able to make this even bigger and better going into 2021. I'll tell you a little bit about that later on in the show. We are broadcasting live to the Brand Crafted Facebook community, so howdy Brand Crafted folks, and we will be up on the Idea Coach YouTube channel. If you've not subscribed yet, subscribe there and you won't miss anything that we create here in the lab. Shout out to Jennifer Buchholz, who's producing the call, the ultimate connector and my business BFF. Now, before we get to Melissa, I want to talk just for a second about the stupid virus. I think I'm just going to call it the stupid virus because I think it's safe to say we can all call it the stupid virus, right? It's pretty much robbed us of a year, and sadly for some, robbed us of our health, and sadly for some, even much worse than that. And when we look at the numbers that are out of control right now, I think we can all agree they're out of control, right? What was it, 6,000 people newly infected on Saturday? And there's become this rift inside your business community. Have you noticed this? There are people in your business community that you can talk about the virus with, and there are people in your business community that you can't talk about the virus with. Have you noticed this? I can't be the only one that's noticed this. So I'm just going to use my little platform that I have here to just share this very important message. I'm freaked out. I'm like really freaked out. Now, we've waited this long, and this is what I tell Abby, owner of Stories Frame Photography, by the way. Use them, they're great. What I told Abby was, we've gone 8 months without having a life. Can't we hang on for another 2 months to maybe get the vaccine? Because if you saw this morning, another vaccine was announced, this one advertising a higher effectiveness rate than the last one. And we've been told, suggested, mentioned that we should all kind of duck and cover for the next few weeks because the virus is out of control. And I'm bringing this up because I don't know who else to talk to about it. I don't know who I can talk to about it. I don't know who I can't talk to about it. So I'm just sharing it here on my little stage. Like, I'm totally freaked out, and the holidays are going to suck. But as we've learned from our friend Cheryl and from others, this is no picnic, right? You do not want to get this. So I'm not giving anyone any advice or suggesting what you should or shouldn't do, but I'm locking down. I'm not taking any meetings outside the house because I don't have to, and I'm very fortunate because of that. But I wish you all to stay happy and healthy, and I want you to think long and hard before going to Thanksgiving with just a few family members or getting together on Friday night for socially distanced something. I don't care if you're taking precautions. We're finding out, and we've all heard the stories about people still getting sick. So I don't want you to be sick because I value you, and I'm glad that you're here. And if you think that you're the only one that's locking down and freaked out, I guess I'm speaking up to let you know that you're not. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just like maybe empathizing with you if you're feeling that same way. And personally, I am very fired up about this potential of the virus, or vaccine rather. So I'm hoping that that thing can get to us sooner rather than later. So I don't know why I needed to talk about that today, but I did. So thanks for listening. And if you feel the same way, just know that you're not alone. So let's get that out of the way, shall we? Cleansing breath. Okay, let's talk cultivating sales, and let's talk great events that are online with our star today, Melissa Blair. So Melissa, how are you, and how is the Cultivating Sales Kingdom today?
We're doing great, and thank you for that message, Pat. We feel the same way that you do, and we are on lockdown. Other than that, as you said, a lot of us are very lucky that we can continue doing business as usual.
Yeah, and it's been a very interesting time when we think back on this. It's been since March, what is that, 8 months, and it's been such a winding path, and I've had portions where I thought, "Okay, we're over this." I've even said as much on this show that we were over this, and we weren't. So it's just been such a long, twisting road. For those of us that still have our health, let's be grateful for it. So let's talk about online events because let's say the vaccine drops at the end of the year and people, quote unquote, get back to normal sooner rather than later. That doesn't mean that online events are going away, does it?
Oh, no, no. There's a lot of good that has come out of this. I've been using Zoom for a long time, so this wasn't all that new to me, but it's new to a lot of people. And so the virus has managed to train a lot of people that never would have been familiar with Zoom. My husband, for one, he never understood what I did down in my office laughing all day. He's like, what do you do all day down there?
Yeah.
And but it's opened up the world to us because now we're able to meet with people anywhere, go to events anywhere. I had an incredible meeting with a woman, a doctor, as a matter of fact, from Sweden today, talking about what's happening in Sweden with the virus and how people are handling it and everything. We would not have had that capability if this didn't happen. And so it's really opening up the world to us.
And it gives us a chance to meet more people for sure. And is it to the point where almost everyone should have some kind of online event? Are we at that point now?
Well, I don't want to do any shoulds. If it makes sense for your, well, let me say this. If you have knowledge that you can impart to the world that can help people, then yes, by all means, jump on Zoom, jump on a webinar, jump on whatever you want to use, but get your message out to the world. And this is a perfect way to do that. We used to have to always do it in person before. Obviously we can't now. And like you said, once things are back to normal, this still gives us an incredible opportunity.
Now, what if you don't have any knowledge and you still have online events? Is that okay? I hope that's okay. Let's talk about online events in general, because it seems like there are like two types of people: people that spend all the time getting people to the event,
Mhm.
and then people that have the event and they worry just about the quality. Like you need both sides of the puzzle. Which one do you see spending more time on? Do you see them spending more time on publicity or the quality of the event? What do you
That's
observe?
a great question. I think both are critical. And how you get people there. Um, yes, of course, we all know social media. It's a free way to do it. If we have a list, we should be inviting people using our list. If we don't have a list, pair up with somebody. I know Serena and Ariel. I watched your thing this morning, getting ready for this, because I haven't been able to make these meetings because of our office hours.
Sure.
But what you two did was brilliant. You paired up. Now you've got two lists. You can also pair up with somebody who maybe has a huge list and they can put you in front of their audience. So there's a lot of different ways to promote your event to get people there. But if you get them there and they're bored, yeah, that's not real good.
Yeah.
You have to be engaging. You have to have resources for them, something that makes it valuable and worth their time. Because we all know that we could spend all day in Zoom, all day, attend all the meetings, and you are vying for people's attention and time. So you still have to make it worthwhile, still have to make it valuable for them.
So let's start at the beginning then. Let's say I wanted to create a new event and you were going to coach us through it. How would you coach us through starting a new event from scratch?
Well, I'm going to be offering you this free ebook,
Hey, look at that.
which will give you checklists and all kinds of things. The first place that I start is, what is your goal? Because each event, not every event is made for making money. Maybe that event is just to get the word out about something. Maybe that event, we do a lot of events for our clients. They're free, but they're only for our clients so that we can provide more information to them. And there's no objective at the end other than hoping that they get value from it. So you really have to look at, what is your goal for that event? Do you want it to be on a particular date, or do you want it to be evergreen so that people can watch it at any time? What is your call to action? If Well, I would think that pretty much any time you should have some call to action, whether it's to join another list or be on your list, or maybe it's to download something for free. Maybe it's to book a consultation or a free meeting with you. But there should be some call to action in every event so that people who are interested can go further. And maybe it is make a sale. Maybe it is make a purchase. But make sure that you've clearly thought out. We use the term PAM. Plan, assemble, monitor. Plan everything out in advance, then assemble all the pieces, because even though it seems like online events should be easier, now we're dealing with technology, and we're dealing with all kinds of technology. There's emails and texts and landing pages and sales pages and thank you pages and funnels and all kinds of things now that you have to figure out. That's right, Jennifer. And so you have to then build all the pieces, and then of course monitor is what went well and what didn't work so well that you would do differently next time. And that again is also in here.
Well, we have to download that event calendar, or the package that you have there, because you went over so many things in one breath. We got to rewind the tape here a little bit and go through these things a little bit one by one, because you said, what is the call to action and the goal of the meeting? A lot of folks that don't do events only think, I'm going to have an event to drive sales. But
Yeah.
there's so many other results that are valuable when you do a good event. And you mentioned a few of them. Can you run through those again? Because it's more than just making sales.
What did I say? Do you want them to book an appointment with you?
Sure.
You have a high ticket sale. If you're offering something that is a bigger decision than a $49 whatever, the first step should be really to book an appointment with you and get to know each other and spend some time, build that know, like, and trust factor. They could purchase something if you're selling a book, or maybe a low cost course that could be made right then and there. That could be made right at the event. If they're going to be purchasing some sort of coaching package, that's again going to be maybe a little bit more on the bigger ticket. Book you as a speaker. I guess in a lot of ways, the event is also your opportunity to build that know, like, and trust factor.
Sure.
Because if you can get them there because they're interested in whatever your topic is, this is your chance to present yourself as a thought leader, as the go-to person if they need help. There's just so many ways to think about it. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's just training your own customer base and offering value to them that they wouldn't get elsewhere.
Is everyone else noticing that Melissa apparently works in air traffic control at Mitchell International? Because all I hear are dings and buzzes, and like, is someone watching the con right now? I just want to make sure like there aren't planes crashing into Lake Michigan because we're on this call.
Ariel said that's all of us signing up for her stuff. That's
That's probably what it is. She gets a ding every time something good happens, and Angel gets its wings. We do have time for questions baked in here with Melissa, because she really has not only helped people launch events, but with her company, Cultivating Sales, they build all the technology to make the event go smoothly and keep people in the funnel afterwards, which is part of it. So you have your call to action, but when you have a good event and 20 or 30 people come, then you get the chance to continue to communicate. So how would you talk with someone after the event, after the fact?
Yeah, I've got a page in here called "The Fortune is in the Follow-Up." So exactly what you said, you got them there, there was interest there, some people booked appointments with you or whatever it is that your goal was, but let's say 80% of them didn't do anything. That doesn't mean they weren't interested. It just means maybe the timing wasn't right. So how can you nurture them over a period of time so that you can keep inviting them back to take that action step? Or maybe it's a smaller action step, something that will just keep that relationship going so that you can, if we're in sales, we're ready to sell all the time, but not everybody's ready to buy when we're ready to sell. So how do we stay in touch with them until such time? And we take a very well-rounded approach to it. The majority of follow-up is email, 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 email. If you only emailed your friends and family, what kind of relationships would you have?
Better. I mean, terrible.
Terrible. So we mix in text, we mix in some direct mail, we mix in some voicemail drops. Possibly might even actually pick up the phone and call them. So we try to encourage our clients to build a well-rounded follow-up process that is more than email.
So what happens, and I think this is the thing that stops a lot of people, when I talk to people about having events, the first thing they worry about is the technology. The second piece that they worry about is, what if nobody comes? So what if you do an event and nobody comes?
I love that question. It's okay. Guess what? You got Consuelo, you did your first Instagram live. I thought I saw her. Where is she? Yeah, you did your first one, and we talked about that on Friday, and you said, okay, it'll be easier to do the next one. It doesn't matter if nobody shows up to that first one. It's your chance to just work it out, feel it out. Consuela's done a number of test things with her new program that she's launching, and it gets the nerves out, it gets everything out, and you learn what went well and what didn't go well, and maybe you invite, what do you call that when you have people in the audience that you ask to be there to make, what do you call that? Where people think they're really there, but they're really only there because you asked them to be there.
Yeah, like a plant or like a fan
Yeah,
or a friend or something. Sure.
yeah. So you invite your 5 friends, and Lord knows this group is awesome for that. We will show up for stuff if you ask. So just invite safe people for that first one, run through it, work out the bugs, and then go to the next one. And maybe there's only 10 people at that one. That's okay. That's how we all start. We have all started with 2 people.
Yeah, that's true. Right here. Hello. I know all about that. That's for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've got. That's great.
What was that?
The other thing that's great is make sure it's taped, because you could repurpose that. You can segment out certain spots that were awesome, put it out on Facebook, YouTube, wherever, and use those little sections, even though they don't know nobody was in the room.
Well, and that's exactly true. The recording function on Zoom or whatever your platform is really allows you to repurpose it, and no one will know no one was there. And one of the guys that does a good job of taking an event and turning it into a pile of content is Eric Clark from X Influence. So Eric, there's just an unsolicited plug for your awesome company, but you also have a question for Melissa. Go ahead.
I have a question, but I will say first, one thing to consider if you're doing a live event, turn your cell phone on, put it on a tripod and hit record if you're going to repurpose that content, so you have an extra video of just your face. Otherwise, your face gets put in this tiny little box, shoved into a corner, and then it's really hard to reuse that. So just one nugget of information for anybody doing that kind of stuff. My question is, what platform do you recommend? Like your proprietary platform for hosting live events, or obviously what Pat had used last week for the big Young Guns event was amazing. I've used Teams live event. I've used Zoom for events. There's a lot of options. Do you have any preference or recommendation?
I know Hopin is what you guys used. I did buy that a long time ago. I've got it. I've never used it. I keep saying to JB, we've got to pair up and try to come up with a reason to use that because it is a great tool. I use Zoom for everything, mainly just because I'm comfortable. You know, I have enough nerves anyway, so that when you put that on top of it, a fear of not knowing how to push all the right buttons, I'd say go with whatever you're comfortable with.
Great.
And I think that's a really good point, because if you're not comfortable, everyone will know, and then you'll be overwhelmed by the technology. And that's the thing that derails a lot of people and stops people from really taking action. I want to do a thing. Okay, we'll do it. Well, I'm not sure how it works. Just go on Zoom and ask people to come. And that's good enough. And if you want to get fancy, then you can do a different platform. Ariel was saying something nice about the Hopin platform for Young Guns Fall Summit. And I do want to ask you about that, Ariel, because the Hopin platform, so if you're not familiar, hopin.to is the website. And it's kind of clunky to learn how to use. It's a little bit overwhelming to set up. What did you like about the Hopin platform, Ariel? Because I'm curious from the user's end what you liked about it.
As you say that, I only have the user's end experience with Hopin, but I really loved that it was really simple. On the left side, it was stage when the live event is going on, and it said live. So you knew if you were like, well, I'm in the expo center, or I'm networking, it's live, the event is going on. It's kind of like you have, if you're an in-person, they'd have the noise or some indication that you're missing out if you're not in there. And that was kind of the indicator of it's live, so there's something going on. But then also there was the networking tab and the expo tab. So it was really simple to click between. And then also, like, when I wasn't ready to go into networking yet, because like, hold on, I need a quick bathroom break. Take a quick bathroom break, and then go in, jump into networking, press the button, and then someone was there when it was available. So just the seamlessness of it as from the user, it was really simple, not hard to figure out, and very flexible.
I like that, because when we were setting it up behind the scenes, it was pretty clunky, and we did a test event and I thought, gosh, is this really going to work when people get here? So I'm glad that the user experience was clean and easy to use. And Van is also sharing a great user experience. Okay, that's great, Van. Thank you. And Ariel, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, because frankly, I mean, not that I would ever do that. I was freaking out about it, but it turned out to be okay, which is good. So, okay, so we find a platform that we're comfortable with, Melissa, and then we do the event, and then the fortune is in the follow-up. What other items can you share with us about planning or holding a great event to make it successful that we haven't covered yet?
Well, I think a lot of it goes into the automation, and that's the piece that we specialize in as well, is how do you get all the notices to go out and the text messages 30 minutes before or 5 minutes before, make sure everybody's getting the emails, make sure they show up, make sure that the replay page gets posted and everybody gets the invite to the replay page. I think that's where a lot of people get nervous, is how do we make all that happen? And our platform makes it really simple to be able to build everything out. The landing pages, the emails, the texts, everything that you need for an online event other than the platform itself, Zoom or whatever. So you basically just log into one program and everything's there ready for you to run with. So
I'm not sure if everyone knows what Cultivating Sales does. Like, I pulled up my Cultivating Sales in the other screen, and I was going to show people all the different things that it does, but I'm sure you could do that as well. But like, if someone doesn't know what your CRM does, so Melissa runs a CRM, and it pretty much does all the things. Is that right? The right way to say it? It does basically everything in one program?
yeah, the example I use, and if you go to our website, cultivatingsales.com, we have a big picture of all kinds of software with duct tape over the top of it, because in order to run your sales and marketing, you need ClickFunnels, you need Infusionsoft, you need Calendly, you need a course builder, you need all these different programs, sometimes 7 or 8 different programs. You have to log into all of them, you have to learn all of them, you have to get all of them to talk to each other, and then of course you have to pay for all of them. We got rid of that. I've been on this quest to find the software that just had everything that we needed. And since we couldn't find it, we worked with developers and built it. And so you just log into one software platform, and it's like having ClickFunnels with Kajabi, with Calendly, with Pipedrive, with a website builder. It's 8 or 9 different software programs all in one. And that's how we're able to build these types of events. Or we have appointment funnels, we have lead magnet funnels. When you request, well, I'll just give it to you now. If you want to get this free download, you pull out your phone and you text the word event. I had to underline it to make sure I knew which word it was, event, to my phone number, which is 262-261-0345. Jennifer just put it in the notes. So just text the word event to 262-261-0345, and you will get access to this. You can also go to a web page that we set up, which is our funnel. And so what we did is we built a funnel, and it's a one page with this little guy on there. It looks better because it's in color. And then you fill in a form, and then of course everything's automated to send you everything. And of course we're gonna have some follow-up, and it just makes it really super easy to get these things out in the world, because I'm what's considered an over-preparer. There are people that overanalyze and underact. So you put that big mess of how do I make this stuff happen in front of me, I don't do anything. If you make it easy, I get it done. Pat, I think Susie asked me what Thursday if I could do today. I put together the ebook, the funnel, everything just in a matter of hours so that we could do this today. It's
Now,
so easy.
I think the best person to talk about your software is Susie Moon because she gets to work on your software on my behalf. So Susie, let's show off just a little bit about what this software does because it pretty much does all the things for me. What are the things that we've built for Idea Collective, Brand Crafted, eWomen? Like what comes to mind? Because we've built a lot.
I would say the Lift as We Climb podcast. So anytime somebody, well, you created a landing page for it. So someone applies for to be on the podcast, that submission gets a text message sent to you so you know who applied. We then zap that into a spreadsheet. So you have all the information at once. We have confirmation emails going out. People can schedule their interview with you. It's just one thing after another. It's all automated. Don't have to think about it.
Brand Crafted Night School was built through here.
Yep.
All of the Idea Collective backbone is on this. The Idea Collective email drip campaign, the text message program. That's the reason why I bought it in the first place, Melissa, is your text message program.
Wow.
I mean, that's very unique. You got to buy that. That's really tough to find.
You know what's coming later this month? It's called conversational booking. I don't know if I told you guys this or not. Yeah, there's a number of clients on here, so I'm telling everybody all at once. We've got it set up that, let's say somebody says, I'm interested, but I'm not ready to buy yet.
Yeah.
So I put them on a nurture campaign. So about every 3 months, they're going to get a text from me, all driven by the software, that says, hey, is now a better time to meet and talk about the software again? And if they come back with anything like, yes, yep, let's do it, got it, anything positive, it's going to go back and grab 3 times from my calendar that I'm available, shoot those 3 times over in the text. The customer or the prospect only has to say, okay, let's do Tuesday. It goes back, books us for Tuesday, and sends out all the automation. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, this is a great thought starter for how to build better events. And I want to turn over the remainder of the call. If you have questions for Melissa or questions you just want to talk about with how to build your events, let's have that discussion now. We've got a few pieces of software I want to discuss as well as Cultivating Sales. Adrian had something. I know Benny's ready to announce something, so I want to talk to them as well. And some additional thoughts from me and others. So let's just open the floor for a second. Melissa, thank you for sharing what you did. Make sure you grab that event guide that Melissa put together because it's really great stuff. And thanks for Cultivating Sales. It's always great to have you on.
Thank you.
All right. So Adrian, let's go to you, bud. Can you tell us about the program that you had mentioned? You said a local operator for an events platform. Can you tell us about it?
Sure can. Yeah, it's Tim Gill. He's actually owner of the company. It's a company called Booth Central, based in Milwaukee. They've done event management software for quite a few years. I've known Tim since about 2014, and I've been an advisor with him. And the product does basically, he's got it up here at art festivals, trade shows, career fairs, and so forth. It's a scalable platform, so it goes up into the thousands, 10,000 or more kind of events. You can basically have vendor booths. The vendor booths can be set up so that they're selling different things. These are some of the ones up here right now. You can see, basically the system, basically is very easy to manage from the event operator. You have all your vendors controlled in it. You have, instead of having to keep spreadsheets and things like that, all of that stuff is all automated. So it's a very powerful platform. If you've talked about Hopin is somewhat analogous to it. There are some things that are more powerful, perhaps on Booth Central. So maybe if you're interested, I can talk to Tim, and maybe we can get Tim to come out and next time and give a talk about it.
That'd be fantastic. I'd love to meet Tim. I haven't met Tim yet. And
I'll do the introduction.
Yeah, if there's local software, it'd be great to feature it because we've got a community full of people that are doing online events, and Cultivating Sales can get people to a platform like this, but Cultivating Sales doesn't do the event platform like this.
I was going to connect Melissa with Tim as well.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Great, Adrian. Thanks a lot, man. Have you done online events before? What is your take on online events? Are you an attendee or an organizer or neither?
Yeah, I'm neither really. I've attended, but my opinion is they're here to stay. And here's why. A good example of what you can do with Booth Central is you have your event, but you can actually leave it up afterwards. So people can continue after the event to come along and see the various vendors and so forth. I just think that, you remove the geographic restrictions, the time zone restrictions, you increase the potential traffic. So if you're selling, what you got to lose? Now your audience went from being Elkhorn to being the whole of the US or the world.
Right.
So I'm sold.
Oh, that's great. Adrian, thanks for that and the potential connection. It'd be great to meet Tim and learn more about Booth Central. Thank you so much. Another gentleman that's building a local event platform. We've been cheering him on during his development as he traveled the world, went out to be a cowboy for a while. Benny, are you back now? Where are you? Last time I talked to you, you were in Minnesota, I think?
Yes, so I'm in Minnesota. I got exposed. I've tested negative, but I'm still waiting for the end of my quarantine. Then I will be back in Wisconsin. Looks like I'll be in Madison for Thanksgiving. I'm really looking forward to that. And then actually the latest update is I've decided I'm gonna go try a winter somewhere warmer. And I'm going down to Austin, Texas. I've never actually visited before. I don't know anybody there, but I've heard really, really good things about it. And that ties well into I'm blessed that I can do my job virtually and that I can kind of live and breathe and talk to my friends and talk to my family. And I've really adapted most things that I do, and especially in my social interactions, towards this virtual world. My business, we definitely leaned all the way into it. But I mean, even personally, just the way that I've maintained my friendships and everything. So I thought that was really insightful. Everything everybody was saying, sometimes sometimes I'm holding my tongue and other times I have nothing to say because everybody says it all. So today was one of those days where I was like, those are some really good points. And I learned a lot too. But yeah, so our platform, and I'll try to be quick about it because I know I will talk about it for hours if you let me. We really wanted to capture the ability to move around and choose who you're networking with at networking events. So I'm going to share my screen. For people who have been staying a little up to date, they know that we're pushing updates like it's nobody's business. And so I'm actually showing you a version that's brand new as of yesterday. So bear with me here. It's very, very similar, but there's one or two new features. So first thing that you see when you land is a digital business card. So fill out your information, fill out anything that'll other people will benefit from having, both when they're finding you to network with you and also for after the event and when they're trying to connect afterwards. But really, here's the heart and soul of it. And like I said, some of these are duplicates because it's so brand new. But you see when you enter that instead of it being one room where everybody is, there's separate conversations where people are talking. And so you can see, obviously this is repeated people, but you'd see everybody who's in the room, what they do. You can click on their profiles and get their LinkedIn information right off the bat before even talking with them. And then when you're ready to network, you can just go ahead, we'll log in there and join the conversation. And this is what's new from before, which is that you've got the profiles and information of everybody you're talking to and everybody that's kind of in this breakout room, so to speak. And then you've still got the open room. So you can kind of peek about and say, oh, who just joined? Or, oh man, somebody's kind of hanging out all by themselves, not in a conversation. And you can invite people to join you. So I'll kind of leave it there. But yeah, really what we're all about is let people find who they're looking for, let people choose who they're in the room with, and really just have a good time. There's a lot more to it than that too. So if anybody's curious or wants to learn more, please, I'd love to talk about it.
So that platform will really drive networking first. Is there a stage feature as well, or just the networking portion?
There is, and actually, I know because the design for that is somewhere else. There is a stage, and the way that it works is it's kind of like breakout rooms and like Zoom, where you'd have your presenter and they would kind of commandeer the whole screen. So they would kind of take control and present very similarly. Yeah.
So when do you go live with it?
Oh, we're open to closed groups right now if anybody's interested, but we're going big public December 10th. December 10th is our launch party. I actually am putting together the details for it right now, so I don't have a link yet, but I will make sure that I share it because at future rally points, because it's going to be a fun launch party. December 10th.
Open to closed groups. Hello. Hi. We're here. Come on. Let's go.
I sent you an email earlier
know.
today, Pat. So
I
check
know.
your
I'm teasing you.
inbox.
I think it would be quite the service to do a big beta test for Benny and help him get this thing under control. So raise your hand if you're in on that, and we can organize it. That would be a lot of fun. But Benny, congratulations on the development. I know you've been working hard on it. So
Thank you so much.
I know. Check my email, Jennifer. I know. Thanks so much. Tom Mitt, good to see you. Thanks for coming. Sue Gresham, you've done a bunch of online events. Let's talk about some of the success that you've had, because I want to hear some real world examples of online wins or things that you've learned.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for asking. So I have been doing online events forever. And especially since COVID has started, even more so. So a couple of tales of terror, if that's what we want to call it, is getting people to actually get the technology right. Okay. So like, for instance, having them feel comfortable with the Zoom and Jennifer knows all about this because she's gone through and taught a whole bunch of all of us about how to use Zoom the right way. But even in this day and age, there are still people that do not use Zoom. I'm teaching a class at WCTC right now, and two of the people in my class have never used Zoom before. So some of it is just like what I've done for all of my online programs and classes, and I've got one coming up at the beginning of December for job seekers, is I actually invite all new people that are brand new to the platform of Zoom, which is what I use, to a pre-trial ahead of time with me for like 15 minutes, like beforehand. Sometimes I've done it as much as a half hour before the class. Other times I've done it as much as like, the day before. But that just helps people get a feeling. Plus then it helps me work out the bugs if I have a bad link or if I've done something wrong. So I have found that to be really a great idea. The whole thing about it is really, if you know your stuff, it's a piece of cake. So just like with everything else, you want to practice what you're going to be saying and pay attention to the time and some of those things. Basically what you would be doing if you were getting up and speaking in front of a group. Just consider that, but you're doing it now on the camera.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Michelle, rather. I know that you and Tech Lab have been doing the Ask the Techsperts. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we're doing Ask the Techsperts. It's every 2 weekly, event where we talk about tech for 45 minutes. It'll be usually 2 different topics and by 2 different speakers. We try to bookend them so that they make sense together. The next one will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. and we'll be having Sheila Nero come on to talk about remote work and Christina Kozlowski to come on to talk about how to make your website more accessible. When we talk about the lessons we learned is at one point we were trying to do all of those presentations ourselves, and that was a lot. And so we invited other people on to help us do some of that work and also to feature some of our friends and their work on the show, and that has been a lot easier. I will say that sending out all the emails and to make sure that people, and to do all the marketing to make sure that people know about the event is a little bit tricky. It would be a lot easier if we had Melissa's software, but.
Yeah. Oh, it's a game changer. Well, I've been to one of your events in person. I haven't seen the online version of it yet. How has the online transition been from in person at the Irish Community Center to online?
We have a very different format with the online. I would say that you get a different crowd online than you get in person. We get people who are very familiar with Zoom, but it's also a lot easier to get to an event instead of having to go to it in person as well.
Well, it's kind of a rough crowd. I mean, look who's here. Yeesh, I don't know. Online, in person, it's a very classy group, but online, yeesh, it's kind of tough. But congratulations, you've been doing those Techspert events for over a year now, almost a year or over a year. You've been a long time.
They're technically a little bit different. Like they were quarterly before they moved online, so now they've been going on since May.
That's great. That's great. Well, I know that it's good. And JB, you contribute to that as well. Is that right?
Yeah, so we had an original partnership on that, which was a lot of fun. And then it also, in case you might not realize, gets exhausting to do events. I don't know how you do it, Pat. I don't really freaking have the stamina. So, so I've been I just launched my topic of the month, and today, thanks for joining me, a couple of you girls. I launched my first, and we're ready for full rollout for 21. And I was doing like a test with my team, getting it ready for me November and December. And it's still a hell of a lot of work. I have 2 more people helping me. I don't get it. I just want to show up and teach. That's all I really want to do. And it's not how it does it, especially online. It's not how it works. So
Yeah, online makes it simpler to do, but you got to bring a lot of energy. So when I'm thinking about doing an event, even one as simple as Rally Point, I mean, Rally Point is not a fancy event, but it's a simple thing to execute. But behind the scenes, you know, I've got JB, the showrunner, and I know she's just talking right now, but I'm telling you, having her there is everything. So here's what I've learned just for a second of doing online events, because I've done a million of them. The first thing is you got to bring way more energy than you think. You have to jump through the screen and perform. One of the dumbest things that I was taught when I was in radio was smile when you talk, because it makes everything better. If you smile when you talk, people think you're really freaking excited to tell them something. And that sounds really dumb, but it's absolutely the truth. And it works every time. It takes all of your energy up a notch. Find yourself a showrunner like JB, if she's willing to do it, or someone like JB that'll help you with the chat, administer people into the room. Another thing that I don't like to do, because I think it's just a deal killer. Have you ever gone over to like someone's house and they want to show you their vacation photos? Like, hey, everybody, let's look at it. And everyone's like, oh, God, I don't want to see her. That's how I feel about PowerPoints. I hate PowerPoints online. I don't want to see a PowerPoint. If it's not simple enough to explain it to me, don't show me a PowerPoint. Because what happens on Zoom when a PowerPoint happens? The presenter gets this big, the screen gets this big, and you read the words that they have on the screen, and it kills all the momentum. I know a lot of people have to have them, and if it's something technical, use them. But I am not a fan of PowerPoint displays being the backbone, like a webinar feel. I mean, I just think those are total deal killers. The other thing that I think is important is to do Q&A and bring in people. I think the thing that makes a show like this or Night School or some other work is like, oh, Elsie, he's got something to add. Elsie, what do you think? So it's not a one-way conversation. I think that's really important. Having quality preparation leading up to it, like everyone that is texted into our database gets a text on Monday so they can see what are we talking on Rally Point at 3:00. So people know if they're going to make time to attend or not. Getting those texts done right and making sure that they're compelling and short and timely also is something I can track the number of people that come based on the quality of the text that I send. Gosh, there's a lot more that I've learned. I used to think that events were going to be a big online revenue generator for me. Not really. I break even on them, but it's nice to have them. Don't be afraid to charge for them if you're doing good content. The other piece that I think is super important is sponsorship. Now, sponsorship is different. Ask for sponsors and find sponsors for your event, even if you don't think you're going to have a huge crowd. And the reason why is that there's a parallel business to yours that's targeting the same group of people that you are that would love to come along for the ride and talk to the audience that you're going to talk to. So do not hesitate to reach out to, hey, Elsie, I'm doing an event and it's full of people you want to talk to. Let's have you be a sponsor. Even if they don't pay you, if they agree to co-promote with you, you can grow the size of the audience. So always, always, always ask for sponsors that are non-competitive, but talking to the same people. And if you're following the cold call coach model, those are your centers of influence. Partner with your centers of influence and ask for them to be a part of all of your online events. Record all of your events and give them to someone like Eric Clark to break up into 1,000 pieces of content. So your event goes for an hour, but lives for a year. Make them available on your YouTube page. Make sure Zoom pre-registration is on. So you have everyone's name, address, and email address before they can come into the room. I don't know why I'm just like throwing all this stuff. These are just things that I've learned after doing a million online events in 2020. because they turned out to be valuable. So hopefully that helps you out. Let's talk to Elsie, who's got a big old event coming up. So Elsie, what has it been like for you to be a guy that is helping people express themselves in podcasting? You've launched a community as well, but now you're launching an event. How has that gone for you?
I think Jennifer Buchholz said it. She nailed it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But I think for me, it's a branding opportunity. It's an opportunity to really get at the core of why we exist in the first place, right? Is to help people amplify their voice, right? So if we break even, then that's great. But it's really not about that. It's about, again, teaching people about podcasting, how to be better podcasters, how to grow their audience, and how to grow their return on investment. So if we accomplish those things, success, success, success. But it's a ton of work, and I'm secretly excited about it being over. Don't tell anybody I said that.
We won't tell anyone. Don't worry about that. That's fine. You've got a lot of great panelists coming up. Can you tell people about the event if they're interested in attending or at least seeing a pro event put on?
Yes. Oh my goodness. So the people that are presenting, we have Q alums, we have Andrea Jones, we have Brandy Iberia, we have some old guy called Elsie, and just these people are successful podcasters. They have leveraged the medium to grow their business, build relationships, and they know their stuff. Me, not as much. I know a little bit, but the other panelists, they are just fantastic business owners and podcasters, and they have so much to teach. And I'm excited to listen to their presentation. So it's going to be fantastic. If you don't grow from this summit, then I don't know. There's no hope for you.
No, they're done. The other people might have a lot to teach, but they're not the mayor of podcasting. That's all I know. They might be fancy and all, but they have not been elected to public office when it comes to podcasting. So good luck with the event. Can you drop into the chat a link so we can see how you set it up and maybe attend?
Yep, absolutely.
That'd be great. Best of luck with it. I know you've been working really hard on it, so excited for you. One other thing that I thought of that I didn't share when it comes to building events, you've heard me say this a lot, is to build the stage and then give it away. Offering a chance for people to get interviewed is something that everyone loves, and it gives you the chance to expose people that maybe don't get heard very often. So that's a good thing that is healthy for the community, and it's a good way to give and support other people. So it's definitely something to share as you're thinking about building events. So I could go on forever on this, and I'm sure we could continue the conversation. If you have any final thoughts, let's drop it into the chat here and make some final comments as we come down for the landing here. I do want to talk for a second about what's coming up with Rally Point. So I've been doing the Small Business Rally Point. It was March 18th, 19th when the pandemic first hit and we all ran to Zoom, and I was doing the daily rally points when we were all super freaked out. Then it kind of settled into a weekly show, Mondays at 3, and thank you so much for being a supporter. And it's been on that rhythm now for the last 8 months. Looking forward into 2021, I had to make a choice. It was either, why am I doing this show? Or if you know me at all, okay, how can we make this 100 times bigger than it is? So the way that I'm going to do that, because I'm not going to stop. Are you high? I'm going to make this big. So here's what I'm thinking about doing. And to get there, I'm going to need your support. I got to get it off Zoom. And the reason why I got to get it off Zoom is Zoom is just like a closed little kingdom. Only the people that have the Zoom link can come in here and see it, and nobody can run into it. Look at the difference between the Brand Crafted group and the Zoom group. We'll get as many people or more that watch it on Facebook just by getting a notification that we're live, rather than the people that find the Zoom and log into the Zoom. So the happy accident of doing the Young Guns event on Thursday, which David Bellman, and if AFW was on here, and Paul, props to you guys, really went great, happy with it, learned some new technology. And I learned some new technology called vMix. And what vMix is going to allow me to do is host the show locally and then blast it out to virtually every platform there is. So I'm going to host the show coming up, not this week, not next week, But in the coming weeks, we're going to move this show over to YouTube Live through vMix. And then I'm going to use a piece of software, and this might be more nerdy than you guys care about, but I'm going to use a piece of software called restream.io. So I'll mix the show locally, and then I'll blast it out on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook page, the Brand Crafted Facebook group. When Sue Gresham finally gets me LinkedIn Live, Sue, I'm looking at you. I'll be on LinkedIn Live as well. Periscope on Twitter, all those other places, and they all go instantly. So instead of just being on Zoom, we'll be everywhere. It will still be live, JB. Thanks for asking. And what we'll be able to do, if you saw during the Young Guns event, how I had, hey, let's go live to Andy Wines. And I pressed a button and there was Andy, or it was me and Andy and Paul and David on the same screen. I'll be able to bring in, like today, Melissa was my guest. I'll be able to bring Melissa in, and then we'll be able to have call-in lines. So if there's something you want to add to the show, no matter what platform you're on, you can click the link and call into the show, and then I'll bring you on. So the magic that is, hey, Adrian's got something to add. Adrian, what do you have? That'll still be available to us no matter what platform you're on. So I know that's a lot of words, and it's kind of an out there concept, but when it's done, we're going to be able to run into all of these different platforms and a lot bigger audience. So the help I'm going to need from you is to help us make that transition. And it'll give everybody a link that they can share. So it'll help us make this show a lot bigger and easier to watch, because if someone's a small business owner in Roanoke, Virginia, they could learn something from Sue, the LinkedIn lady, or Elsie, the mayor of podcasting, or Melissa Blair and her CRM software, or JB, the BFF. Like, we have such a great little community here that I feel like we need to get it out to everybody. And to do that, we got to get off Zoom exclusively. So that's what I'm thinking. And Lisa and Eric Clark and JB and some of the other tech people that are on the call, if you have thoughts, advice, question, ideas, I'm all open to it, because I think this is the right way to go. And I think we'll be able to make it big this way. So I'm really excited about it. I will keep you in the loop as we continue to build this thing together. But I'm pumped, because I think it could be the next big step for Rally Point and all of our messages. That's what this is all about. All of our messages get the chance to get amplified. All right. Big shout out to Melissa Blair from Cultivating Sales. You are the bomb. Thank you for your great software that is owned and operated and run by the exclusive Susie Moon Industry. Thank you, Susie. JB, who is our showrunner, Ultimate Connector and Business BFF, thank you as well. Serendipity Labs and the Idea Collective, we couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Look up the Idea Coach channel, and that will wrap up Small Business Rally Point for Monday, November 16th. Go Bears! I'm Pat. Have a great day. Bye-bye.